Okay. Then at number 4, we had x squared is equal to 36. So step 1, take everything to the left-hand side and make it equal to 0. Then, if you look at the left-hand side, that x squared minus 36, I could factorize by using difference in two squares again. So it's going to be, oopsie. What did I just do? No, there we go. Okay, so it then becomes x plus 6, x minus 6. Again, those two brackets may be switched around. It's fine. So that means that your answer will be positive 6 and negative 6. Okay, at number 7, I took that x to the left-hand side, right? So then I have x squared minus x equal to 0. Remember, it must always be equal to 0 before you start factorizing. Okay. Yesterday's class, we had one where it was equal to 6. So on the right-hand side, we had a 6. So then we first had to take that over and simplify and then factorize. But we'll get to that a little later on. Then I factorize by taking out a common factor of x. So then I'm going to have x minus 1. Now, even though there's not a bracket here, we said that x is technically, it's its own bracket. Because in those steps that I made you guys write down, step 3 was make each bracket equal to 0. No, so don't forget about that x. It's actually its own little bracket, so that is why x is equal to 0. Yeah? So did you go from here to there? Okay, it's fine. It's just, it is going to get a bit more complicated later on, and then when you show me steps, it's going to be easier for you. But if you can skip without making a mistake, then yes, it's good. You're going to get a mark for the factorizing and then a mark for each x value. Yeah, that's the thing. If, as I said to him just now, if he gets the answers correct, then I can assume that he got that factorizing correct, so I can still give him a mark there. But if the answers are wrong, you just get naught. Whereas even if you factorized wrong here, I could still work with that and give you a mark over there. That's why we want you to write those steps. Okay. Right, any other questions? Can I skip? Okay, there's number 10. At number 10 it says x squared equal to 36x. So step 1, we take everything to the left. Then we took out a common factor of x. So in the first part, x will be 0. And in the second one, the bracket, we make that equal to 0. So x would be 36. Okay, now, number 13. We had x squared minus 100x equal to 0. Let's take out a common factor of x first. So I'm going to have x minus 100 equal to 0. Now that x is like its own bracket, so that I make equal to 0. We can't go any further than that. Make the bracket equal to 0. Then it means that x would be 100. Any questions there? Right. 16. 2x squared is equal to 32x. First things first, we take everything to the left, so it becomes minus 32x, and now equal to 0. Okay, so now we take out a common factor of 2x, which means, it would be x minus 16. So, this first part is actually 2x equal to 0. And how do I get rid of that coefficient? We divide both sides by 2, right? So my answer will still be x is equal to 0. In the bracket, I'm going to make that x minus 16 equal to 0, which means that x will be 16. Any questions? Right, can I skip? Yeah.
Will there be extra classes for next week's test?
Yeah, there has been classes every day, so you can come.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I skip? Tomorrow's one, I'll tell you guys just now which period. Not tomorrow, Monday. Sorry. Hands up, we still copying? Okay, quick, people. Today, you guys in the grade 10s are here, no? Okay, so extra class Monday will be period 3. Okay. Right, you done. Can I skip? Number 19. 4x squared equal to 9. Okay, so we take everything to the left. Minus 9 equal to 0. Now, you will see that we couldn't take out a common factor, but what we could do is get difference in squares, right? So, my pen's nou niks lekker nie. 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3. Remember, you could have swapped those two around. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we got that x. I make the first bracket equal to 0. So take the 3 over. Then get rid of the coefficient. So x will be 3 over 2. You guys fine with that? Okay. In the second bracket, you keep it as a fraction. Don't write decimals. In the second bracket, 2x plus 3, make that equal to 0. So again, we take the 3 over. Now it's just going to be minus 3. So x will be negative 3 over 2. Okay, are you guys good? 22. Now we're getting to the trinomials. X squared plus 7x plus 12 equal to 0. So step 1 was already done for us. Everything is already on the left-hand side, and it is equal to 0. So now step 2 says factorize the left-hand side. Now I wanted you to see that that's a trinomial. So my answer is going to be 2 brackets. Okay. How do we do that trinomial? We look at factors of term 1, which will be x times x, and term 3. Now factors of 12 would be 12 times 1, or 6 times 2, or 3 times 4. Now I've got to use those to get positive 7x. Would I be able to use 12 and 1? No, so automatically that's out. Would I be able to use the 6 and the 2? No, so we're going to use the 3 and the 4. What would my signs be? I'm supposed to get a positive 7, so plus 3, plus 4. Okay, remember to go check the sign of term 3. Because that's a plus, it means that signs must be the same, right? And are my signs the same? Yes. Okay, so x plus 3 and x plus 4. Right, which means that x will be minus 3 at that first bracket, and x would be minus 4 at the second bracket. Any questions? Can I skip? Okay, quick. Yeah. No, it's new work. No. We're first finishing, and then when that's done, then we revise. Right, hands up, who's still copying? Yeah? after today, I just want to do a revision exercise. So Monday, you're going to get a revision. We're going to mark the homework that you guys get today and then revision homework. So when I see you on Tuesday, we mark that revision and do all tests. Okay. Right, can I skip? Visenia, did you do the homework? Right, 25. X squared minus 4x minus 12. Now you've got to see the sign is different. Okay, so obviously trinomial. So I'm going to have x times x. And now, factors would be, we said 12 and 1, 6 and 2, or 3 and 4. Okay, we must get minus 4x. So that 12 and 1 is not going to work. The 6 and the 2 looks like it could work. What would my signs be? Minus 6 plus 2. And now remember to look at the sign of the third term because that's a minus. It means signs will differ. And are my signs different? Yes. Okay, so I have got x minus 6 and x plus 2. So your x value here would be positive 6. And your x value there would be minus 2. I can't remember whether I said it or not. Remember to write this in between because x can be 6 and that equation would be equal to 0, or x could be minus 2 and the equation would still be equal to 0. Okay, so please remember to write your or in between. Did everyone hear that? Okay. 28. 28 says a squared minus 12a plus 35 equal to 0. Okay, everything was already on the left. It's a trinomial. So we're going to say a times a. And factors of 35 would be 35 times 1 or 7 times 5. Okay, and what would my signs be? Minus 7, minus 5, because that's going to give me minus 12a. Look at the sign of term 3. It's a positive, which means that these two signs must be the same. And are they? Yes. Okay, so a minus 7, a minus 5, which means that a will be positive 7 or a will be positive 5. You guys good with that? Okay. M squared minus 5m minus 6 equal to 0. Okay. Right, let's look at the signs. Remember, we could say 6 times 1 or 3 times 2. But that negative tells me that my signs must be different. So that's why I'm going to say minus 6 plus 1. No. Which means that m will be 6 or m will be minus 1. Alright, can I skip? Yeah. The minus 6 and plus 1. Yeah. Look. Okay, we must use these factors to get term 2, meaning that minus 12, no? Okay, and this plus tells me that signs must be the same. So it must either be minus minus or plus plus. Okay, but if I used positive 7 plus 5, my answer would be positive 12. And what do we have here? Minus 12. So that's why I knew it must be minus 7 minus 5. Because minus 7 minus 5 is going to give me minus 12. Okay. Are you fine with that? Okay. Anyone else? Can I skip? Good. Hands up, you're still copying? Good. All right, 34. X squared equal to 11x minus 28. Okay, so step 1, take everything to the left. So that becomes minus 11/8 and positive 28. And make it equal to 0. Now we've got a trinomial. So let's factorize. Okay, let's look at the factors of 28. It would be 28 times 1 or, 4 times 7. Okay, and we're supposed to get minus 11. Okay, have a look at the sign here. Because that's a positive, it means that my signs must be the same. So I'm going to say minus 4 minus 7, because that's going to give me the minus 12. Do you guys all see that? Okay, so it means that my x values would be positive 4 or positive 7. Okay, at number 37, can you see that we actually have it, we already have it equal to 0? No, yeah? Where is the 19? Must I skip back? Oh, it's on page 119, yes. Okay, so over here we've got 0 is equal to that. So I just want to rewrite what was given. I'm not actually changing anything. I just want, the end to be equal to 0. So it's the same as writing it like this. X squared minus 13x plus 22. And then we say equal to 0. Everyone get that? Yeah? You could. If you did that, it would have been minus x squared, positive 13, and this will be a minus 22. Okay, but it wasn't necessary, because then your next step would have been take out a negative 1 in any case. No. All right, so let me just change that again. There we go. Okay, so it's a trinomial, so we're going to factorize. So we're going to say, x. Okay, factors of 22 would be 22 times 1 or 11 times 2. The 22 and 1 obviously is not going to work. So we're going to use the 11 and the 2. Have a look at the sign of term 3. Because that's a positive, it means my signs must be the same. So I'm going to say minus 11 minus 2. Okay, which means that my x value here would be a positive 11. And x at the second bracket would be a positive 2. You guys good with that? Okay, 40. 3x squared minus 3x equal to 18. So step 1, we take everything to the left. So now I've got that. Minus 18 equal to 0. Now, that coefficient of the x squared, we don't want that. So what's going to be our next step? Take out a common factor of 3. Okay, so then you're supposed to have x squared minus x, or 1x, minus 6 is equal to 0. Now that bracket, we can go and factorize further. So that's going to become minus 3x plus 2 . Okay, so this 3, even though it was written in front of the bracket, it's not going to change anything. Okay, we still make all our brackets equal to 0. So in the first bracket, x would have been a positive 3. And in the second bracket, x would be minus 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's, yes. Yeah, but that number is 3. Okay? So I can't say 3 is equal to 0. That doesn't make sense. No. So we did it at number 7 because it was x. And we had to solve x. So that's why x had to be 0. Yes. Yeah. Over here. So, yeah. You wrote it over 3. Each one of them. Yes. And then you, in any case, just ended with just, oopsie. You ended with just what was written inside the bracket. You know what I mean? With just what was inside the bracket. It's still correct, yeah. Okay, any other questions there? Yeah. Solve x. Yes, we did. Right at the bottom over here. X is positive 3. That one. Okay, he asked that just now as well. You can't say 3 is equal to 0. That's not going to make sense. No? So at number 7, we had x. So that's why we said the x would be equal to 0 as well. Remember, on yesterday's class, we said we're using that rule where anything times 0 would be 0. Okay, so if you look at these brackets, let's say we make the first bracket 0. Then second bracket still remains x plus 2. 3 times 0 is going to be 0. And that 0 times this bracket is still going to be 0. Okay? So let's just change the two brackets. Now I make the second bracket 0. But the first one, it stays the x minus 3. 3 times that bracket times 0 is still going to give me 0. So can you see that that 3 doesn't really influence anything? As long as we make those brackets 0, then the whole thing would still be equal to 0. Okay. Can I skip to the next slide? Okay. 43. X to the power 3. Now, when you saw that to the power 3, you immediately had to think of, can't I take out x as a common factor? No. Okay, so let's take that out, which means that you're going to have x to the power of 2. Nee, dis am te lelik, sorry. X to the power of 2 plus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. Okay, so see, now we've got the same as what we had at number 7. No. So that x in front, we're still going to have to make equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to have, let's look at the factors of 8. It would be 8 times 1 or 4 times 2. Okay, and we're going to use those to get a positive 2x. So obviously the 8 and the 1 is going to be out. Right? And how would we get a positive 2? I'm going to say positive 4 minus 2. Now let's just double check. The sign of term 3 is a negative, which means that my signs must differ. Okay, so we've worked it out correct. So it would be x plus 4 and x minus 2. Now, this x in front, as we said at number 7, is almost like its own bracket. Because it's x, we still got to solve it. So we're going to say that x would be 0. Okay, or second bracket, x would be minus 4. Or third bracket, x would be positive 2. Okay, you guys good? Right, now the last one was a tricky question. So let's look at that. I've got x minus 3, that whole thing to the power of 2 equal to 9. Right, so let's take it over. Then we'd have x minus 3 to the power of 2 minus 9 equal to 0. That was our first thing. Now step 2 says factorize. Okay. Now, one of two options. Who have you multiplied in those brackets? Okay. Who have you used difference into squares? Oh my word, who did this one? Huh? Donkey. So what did you guys do? Did you use difference in squares or did you multiply in your brackets? Good. Okay. Okay, so you multiplied in. Okay. Okay. I'll do both those options. Quickly have a look. What I wanted you to see is this is actually difference in two squares. I'm going to show you on the side here. If I were to give you this, x squared minus 9 equal to 0. If I gave you that, then you would have said x plus 3, x minus 3, right? No. So this is actually the same. That whole bracket. This whole bracket is just what we have at x. Do you guys see that? So it would have been the bracket plus 3 and the bracket minus 3. Does that make sense? Okay, so kom ons skryf hom gou so. So you're going to have, I'm going to start with a big bracket. We're going to get rid of it just now. X minus 3 and then plus 3 and x minus 3 minus 3. So can you see that is like my x plus 3 and then x minus 3. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, oh sorry, equal to 0. So over here in the first bracket, you would have x minus 3 plus 3. No. But can't we simplify that? Minus 3 plus 3 would just give me x. Okay. So I'm going to do that in the next step now. So x minus 3 minus 3. So it's going to be over here just x because the minus 3 plus 3 gives me 0. And in the next one, x minus 6. So x will be 0 or x will be positive 6. Yeah. I'm going to do yours now. Yeah. Where did you not put in the brackets? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it was just all written. Then it's a normal adding and subtracting equation. Okay, must I do yours? Okay, so what he did is he multiplied in. So I'm going to do the other option in green. So he said this, that because of that little square, it means I must write out my bracket twice. Let's take the 9 over as well. I'm doing 2 steps in one and then equal to 0. Okay, so now over here, we're going to do FOIL. So x times x, x squared. X times minus 3, minus 3x. Minus 3 times x, minus 3x. And minus 9, minus 3 times minus 3 is going to give me positive 9 and then minus 9 equal to 0. Hold on, let me just finish. So x squared is going to stay like it is. And then minus 3x minus another 3x is going to give me minus 6x. And can you see that that plus 9 minus 9 is going to give me 0. So I'm just going to end up with this. Now I could take out a common factor of x. So x minus 6 equal to 0. Can you now see we're getting to this step? Same as what we had on the left hand side. So x would still be 0 or x is 6. So it doesn't matter which one of those two options you used. Yes.
So I think when do it on that side on the orange side?
Orange side.
Yeah, I think that is the common factor of x minus 6.
Okay. in the orange one, I used difference in two squares. Remember I showed it just now with x squared minus 9? But instead of just the x, I gave you a bracket squared minus 9. No? Are you fine with that? So on the right-hand side, the green one, if you didn't see that it was difference in two squares, you could do the option 2, the green one, by multiplying out those brackets first, and then you would get the common factor of x and get to the same answer. So both of those would be correct. Okay. No. Did you put everything over minus 3? Mm-mm. X to the power of 2 and then equal to 9. Now, first get rid of your brackets. We did one like that in the extra class. So first get rid of your brackets. And then we can either take out common factor or difference in two squares or trinomial. Okay. But any other questions here? Okay, that was now the homework. So I'm going to do one, it depends on the time, one, maybe two examples. We have done some of these that you're going to get for homework yesterday as well. But just for those that might not have watched, which I hope not, I'm going to do one or two. Can I skip yours or is anyone still, are you still copying? Okay, tell me when you're done. Okay, so we're going to use the same thing now. We're still solving the following equations, and we use those same steps. Right? Take everything to the left, and then factorize, and then solve x. Hoe ver is jy? Ooh! Okay, hold on. Then we haven't got time for an example or two, but there's your homework. We did do this yesterday. So if you see this and you're unsure, go and look at the video again. Basically, you will see that your common factor here is going to be the bracket itself. Okay? Sometimes those brackets do not look the same, so then we've got to take out a negative to change our signs. Okay? So it's the same exercise, just B, but the second column. Yeah.